Hello, Matt Osborne from MrLeica.com. Welcome from a wet UK, and sorry if you can hear the noise of the rain in the background. So with the release of the new Leica M10-R 40 megapixel monster of a rangefinder camera, now may be a good opportunity to look at getting a Leica M10. Because hopefully as a new camera is released, the price should drop on the existing models. Now, I've reviewed the Leica M10 before, but not on YouTube. I did a detailed blog post on the MrLeica.com blog maybe 12-18 months ago, looking at the pros and cons of getting the Leica M10 compared to my existing Leica M240. So first I'll quickly cover some of the details, and I'll try and keep that bit brief, and then we'll move on to the image quality because that's what I'm interested in. Okay, so firstly, what is a Leica M10 camera? The Leica M10 is a 24 megapixel CMOS sensor full frame Leica rangefinder camera, first released in 2017. Now, if you are aware of the Leica M240, the Leica M10 was the model after the M240. So I guess a good comparison is to compare the Leica M10 to the M240. So I've done a couple of photo shoots using both cameras and also a Leica CL. And then if you wait till further on in this video, and you'll see the example images. How much does a Leica M10 camera cost? New, a Leica M10 costs around £6,000 and used £4,150. If you compare that to a used Leica M240, you can pick one of those up for £2,400. So the M240 still is quite a bit cheaper than the newer M10. Now, the Leica M10 is not a new camera, so rather than kind of go through every single detail about it, you probably already know what a Leica M10 camera is. So I'll direct you to the blog, and I'll link it underneath this video if you want super detail, all the differences against all the major differences against the Leica M240. But for me, the main reasons I was looking at the M10 personally was the improved ISO. So the high ISO of the M10 goes up to 50,000 compared to only 6,400 on the Leica M240. Realistically, that gives me 2 to 3 stops usable additional high ISO, which is really useful for things like weddings. Another new feature of the Leica M10 over the M240, the M240 has a 0.68 rangefinder magnification, and the Leica M10 has a 0.73 magnification, meaning it's more magnified, meaning it's easier to see. In addition to that, the diameter of the viewfinder of the Leica M10 is 30% wider than the M240. So I can show you that with my Leica M240. So on my M240, as you probably know, if you've seen previous videos, I use a 1.4 magnifier to make the 0.68 magnification more magnified, meaning I can critically focus lenses such as the 1.4 Summilux. A disadvantage if you get a Leica M10 is if you use these magnifiers on any other M camera, such as a Leica M6, M10, M9, M8, any of those cameras, these older diopters do not fit the M10 because the diameter is obviously a different size. So that's obviously going to be more cost if you then have to buy a new diopter if you buy a new M10, and they're not cheap. In addition to that, if you enjoy using a EVF on your Leica M240, if you upgrade to the Leica M10, again, this will not fit the Leica M10, so you would need to buy the new VisioFlex EVF that's designed for the Leica M10. So again, that's another cost you need to bear in mind, where existing kit will not fit the M10. Equally, the Leica M240 comes with a large battery like that, and these batteries can do 500 shots or more on a single charge on the M240. Why am I telling you that? Because the new Leica M10 has a smaller battery, and that is said to only do 210 photos. Now, some of the information you read online may be worth taking with a pinch of salt, because I used a Leica M10 in Mayfair from the Leica store, and I got over 300 shots from my battery, and my battery was only part used. So it definitely can do more than 200 shots per charge, and I think it depends on how fast you shoot and if you're using your LCD all the time, things like that. In terms of size, I took some photos of the Leica M10 alongside my Leica M240, and you can see the new Leica M10 is 3mm narrower than the Leica M240. And if I just show you What that means in reality, the Leica M10 is designed to be the same width as, say, an old classic Leica M3. And now if I show the M240, you can see the M240 is a deeper camera. So the M10 is the same width as the Leica M3. Another feature that the Leica engineers kind of copied from the classic Leicas is the film rewind dial on the old classic cameras is now the ISO dial on the Leica M10, which is another kind of nice feature. Whereas on an M240, there's no button here, and you'd have to use ISO from the button on the back of the camera. In terms of weight, because the Leica M10 is slimmer and it has a smaller battery, it comes in at 20 grams lighter, that being 660 grams compared to 680 grams of the M240. I don't think 20 grams is going to matter here nor there, but a lighter camera is always nicer. A few other features of the M10, it gives you Wi-Fi, and the video is no longer an option on the M10, whereas the M240 has video. Now, if you want touchscreen, you would need to get the Leica M10P model, which gives you touchscreen, whereas the standard M10 doesn't. And also the M10P is supposed to have a quieter shutter. One disadvantage of the new M10 is it's not weather sealed, whereas the Leica M240 is said to be weather sealed. Not that I've kind of taken mine out in the rain or in the dust too often. Both cameras have the same 3-inch LCD with live view, and as mentioned at the start, both cameras have the 24 megapixel full frame Leica CMOS sensor. So that's all the stats out the way. Now, if you're looking to buy a new digital Leica camera, there are other options. You may have seen in my recent videos that I've tested the Leica Q, the Leica Q2. Both of these cameras have a fixed 28mm lens, which offer autofocus and macro mode. Both those features are advantages over a standard M camera, where you can only focus as close as 0.7 meters and there's no autofocus. Equally, the Leica Q and Leica Q2 offer a leaf shutter lens rather than a standard mechanical shutter. That offers you a much higher flash sync speed if you're kind of into your flash photography. The advantage of the M system, whether it's a Leica M10 or Leica M240, from the ones we're looking at, is the M system offer interchangeable lenses. So if you're looking for a new digital Leica and you want interchangeable lenses, then you'll probably disregard the fixed lens Leica Q, and then you're looking at what you have left. And the options now are you have the Leica M series, such as the Leica M10 we're looking at now, but then you also have the Leica SL series, such as the original Leica SL and the Leica SL2. The Leica SL2 is more on a part of the new Leica M10R with its 40 megapixel sensor, and I guess the Leica M10 is closer to the original Leica SL with the 24 megapixel sensor. The main difference being, if you want autofocus, interchangeable lenses, then get the Leica SL camera, especially if you prefer like SLR style viewing where you're looking through the lens rather than through the rangefinder. Advantages of a Leica M10 over a Leica SL is obviously it's a much smaller setup. It's a smaller body and the lenses are considerably lighter and smaller in every dimension. I much prefer a smaller setup personally. Another feature worth noting is, like I say, the Leica M series cameras have a sensor designed to be more film looking or organic looking, whereas the Leica SL series cameras are designed to be more clinical and more perfect. I guess more like a DSLR, maybe the latest Nikon DSLR, something like that. So if you're happy with the fixed lens, check out the Leica Q and Leica Q2. If you want interchangeable autofocus lenses, check out the Leica SL and the Leica SL2. If you want a rangefinder camera, then obviously stay tuned because this is the Leica M10. And then lastly, if you want a smaller autofocus interchangeable lens camera, then definitely check out the Leica CL. The Leica CL offers amazing value for money, and you can use it with both autofocus native lenses and then M lenses via an adapter. So those are some of the main options in terms of if you're looking to get a new digital Leica camera. M cameras seem to hold their value better and they seem to be more expensive in the first place, probably because no one else offers digital rangefinder cameras. So they kind of control the market in that regard. Now, if you're only interested in the final image quality, which to me, that is a big factor. I'd like it ideally as small as possible. I do enjoy rangefinders, but the final image quality is really important to me. I don't want clinical, otherwise I could have carried on using my Nikon. Those images were sharp, but they just had zero life to them, and that's why I came to Leica in the first place, originally with my Leica M9 and then the Leica M8. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you're open-minded and you don't care what Leica you get as long as you get amazing pictures. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you photos taken with the Leica M240, the Leica M10, the Leica CL, and then just to finish off, the Leica M10R, I got to play the Leica M10-R, so I can show you what that camera can do as well. So you may recognise some of these models and photos from previous videos, but some of the photos are unique to this video too. So firstly, here are photos taken with my Leica M240 using the Leica Sumlux 50mm f1.4 lens. Now next we have the Leica CL. Now to give the Leica CL a chance, I fitted it with a 35mm 1.4 autofocus TL lens. That gives you a kind of Sumlux equivalent for the crop sensor, because 35mm on the crop sensor becomes 50mm. So all these photos are shot with the 35 1.4 at 1.4 on the Leica CL. All photos I'm showing you were shot raw and then processed in Lightroom and one of my black and white Mr. Leica presets applied. Okay, and now these photos are shot with the Leica M10. The M10 photos are taken with the Leica Sumlux 50mm 1.4 spherical lens, again at 1.4, daylight white balance, manual exposure. Okay, so while those photos are fresh in your mind, here are some photos taken with the Leica 10R. Now to try to get the best possible images out of the Leica 10R sensor, I use the Leica Summicron M 50 f2 lens at f2. So all these photos now are shot with the Leica 10R outside the Leica Mayfair store, and I shot them in colour just because of the clothes that the model was wearing. Okay, so that's all the photos, the Leica M240, the Leica CL, the Leica M10, and then just for fun, a few with the Leica 10R. Now I'd love to hear your thoughts on which camera you think performed the best. Did the Leica M10 outshoot the Leica M240 and the Leica CL? Now I don't want to sway your comments, and that's not my intention, but from the previous videos I did, the Leica M10 seemed to be the preferred camera in every camera test that I've done. And not only that, when I did a poll on Facebook, the Leica M10 was the most popular Leica digital camera. So it does seem to have quite a huge fan base. And I guess that makes sense for everyone who's a digital shooter and Leica M fan. I don't think many people are going to be able to afford the new Leica M10R. So I think the Leica M10 is going to continue to be many people's main camera for at least a few more years. Okay, so that's my roundup of the Leica M10. Personally, do I think it's good enough to upgrade from a Leica M240? I think for me, no. For my important photos, I shoot them on film. So although I need high quality digital images, that isn't my primary interest. Now the biggest flaw for me on the M240 is the high ISO, but since picking up the Leica CL, I now have the high ISO kind of option covered. If I want the full frame look and shallow depth of field, the M240 does it for me. If I want autofocus, a smaller setup, a lighter setup, better high dynamic range, better high ISO, then the Leica CL does all I need. Now I'm not dissing the Leica M10, and if you did only want one camera, the Leica M10 is probably a great option. But because I have the Leica CL that ticks so many of my boxes for where the Leica M240 kind of falls behind, it kind of covers me for all situations. So at the moment I'm going to continue with my Leica M240 and the Leica CL, and I'll see what life throws at me and what type of photography I'm doing in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. As mentioned, I'd love to hear which camera you thought performed the best. I have a feeling the Leica M10 probably did, but it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts. I do believe the Leica CL was not far behind the other cameras in this test by using the 35 1.4 autofocus lens. I think that really did kind of allow the CL to up its game, but I'll let you decide that. And lastly, if you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you to all my patrons which are currently supporting me. If you're interested in getting into portrait photography or learning how to master your Leica camera, head over to my Patreon account, because I'm using it to kind of inspire, mentor, teach, and have a bit of fun at the same time, putting out a lot more behind the scenes type videos which are not really the right format for me to share on my YouTube account. Okay, thanks for watching, and sorry again for the rain. Hopefully it will have stopped before the next video. Okay, bye.